Welcome to the New Era Podcast, a fresh space where we talk life, love, growth, money moves, marriages, relationships, mindset, and everything in between. Hosted by me, Kourtney. This is where real talk meets wisdom, humor, and conversations that help you grow. Now let's get into it. I'm quite sure you saw the title. The title of this podcast is Do the Work, the real reason why you're stuck. Let's talk about it. I want to first welcome you to this podcast. And also, I want you to sit down and be in a quiet space. And I want you to do some self reflecting because this podcast is not going to be for the weak. I'm going to get all in your business. I'm going to tell you all about yourself, but it's all in love. So today we're talking about something that might, just might sting a little. But like I said, it's all in love. If you've ever asked yourself why you're stuck, anger, jealousy, or bitter, this episode is for you. And not just bitter. I don't want you to stop. I want to say, etc. If you wonder why you're stuck in jealousy, you're stuck in enviness, you're stuck in hatred, you're stuck in malice, you're stuck in all these things. And let's add etc. Because this list can go on. It's not just about jealousy and bitterness. It's about you being stuck in whatever you're stuck in. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that and why you aren't living the best life that you're supposed to live. You're supposed to live a good life. Did you know that? Is this mic on? You're supposed to live a good life. Did you not know that? You're not supposed to be stuck. You're supposed to be progressing day by day. You're supposed to be moving day by day, growing day by day. Wouldn't it be strange to see a child or a person stuck in kindergarten for like 10 years? That would be strange, right? That would be very strange, very weird. And there is nothing wrong with them, but they're stuck. Some of you guys are stuck. It's nothing wrong with you, but you're stuck. And now I'm here as your coach to coach you on how to get unstuck. So, a lot of times, I want to talk about this why we judge others. Because a lot of times we're judging others because it makes us feel good. Sometimes we judge others, it gives temporary relief from our own discomfort. So, I'm going to use this as an example. I can look at somebody and say, oh, wow. Why is she like that? Why is she doing the things that she is doing? Look at her. Look at the way she dressed. Look at her kids. Girl, they ain't gonna grow up to be nothing. I already know, honey. I already know they not growing up to be nothing. You know, if she the mama, where they daddy at? Oh, he in jail. It figures, honey. Them kids gonna grow up to be in jail too. Look at them. They already look how bad they are. Does that sound familiar? It don't have to be that, but who you judging? Who are you looking down on? And when you look down on somebody, it boosts you up because what? You said, child, I ain't like them, honey. I'm better than that. And at least I grew up, honey, and it wasn't a broken home. Honey, at least I grew up. And my mom, she may have been a single mother, but honey, she worked, honey. She made sure we was in the house, honey. But you looking at somebody else and you're judging them, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good to where you are. It's not so bad. Look at somebody else. But that's the wrong way to look at it. Can you speak blessings over this person, over this single mother, or whoever you're judging and talking about? Can you speak the opposite of what you're speaking? And you say, you know what? I'm going to pray for them kids. I'm going to ask her, do she need some help? I wonder if it's something that I can do to help her because I understand she's a single mom. and I wonder what I can do. Oh, her dad in jail. Well, you know what? Them kids not finna be in jail, honey. I am gonna do my best. I'm gonna pray for them. I'm gonna see what they need. Little Johnny, get out that dirt right now. Where is your mother? But no, honey, we sit back, we criticize, we already speak damnation over them, their life, because why? It makes us feel better about us. Because when your life is not where you want it to be, I'm talking to you, when your life is not where you want it to be, it makes you feel damn good to criticize somebody else. It makes you feel damn good to talk down about somebody else. Let me tell you, I'm going to give you another example. Now, this was me. And I'm quite sure, y'all, we have all been there. We have all been that person gossiping, talking about somebody else, whether it's somebody on TV or, whether it's somebody that is, and when I use reality show, y'all know me and my husband, we talk about reality TV. They give us content to talk about, so we talk about that. But I'm not talking about reality TV where it's based around, you talking about what you see. You know what I'm saying? Giving your commentary. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about TV. I'm talking about real life people around you that you know their circumstances. You're talking down, you looking at them like you're judging them. No, I'm not talking about real life people. So I have been in a place where before I went through my process, before I went through you know what? I can't judge nobody. I've been through that. Child, I ain't finna judge nobody, talk about nobody, honey, because I realized that when we put our teeth and tongue to talk about somebody else, that stuff happened to you. Ooh, I got two scenarios. Okay, so the first one, I remember I used to say this. Child, ain't nobody jealous of her, honey. Who she thinks she is? Look at her. Look at her. Girl, please. I was jealous of her. Why? Because my mouth said it. It really said it. Ain't nobody jealous. Really, it was saying, I am jealous of you. When we say stuff like the girl, ain't nobody jealous of her. And nobody did nothing to us. This person just walked in the room, or this person just, so happened to come in somewhere around you. And that's what you say. And you haven't sat down to introduce yourself, meet them, or even if you met them, that's what you say and they ain't did nothing to you. Like, why would you say that? Like, honestly, why would you say that? Because you're subconscious, you're conscious, you're saying you're jealous. I've been there. I have been there. I have had to evaluate my own intentions, my own heart, my own spirit, my own motives. That's why I can say I've done the work. I'm not saying my work is complete on me, but I've done a lot of work on me. I'll give you another scenario about judging. I remember one time I used to judge, like I was judging pretty heavy. I was that heavy judger, okay? And my intentions was not right. You know what I'm saying? I know if we say, well, the Bible say judge, make sure your intentions right. What is your reason for judging, if you want to put it like that? Is it to help somebody? Or is it to harm somebody? Or is it to make yourself look good, which is to me harming somebody? So I used to judge. And when I did, let me tell you something. God made that thing happen to me. Like whatever the issue was, whatever I was so harshly judging a person on, it ended up happening to me. It ended up happening to me. So if I'm judging somebody on being, I don't know, too promiscuous, I don't know. That's a random thing because that didn't happen. And then my life ended up being too promiscuous. So those are things that we really and truly as a person have to work on. And when we look at the thing as far as judging other people, there's a quote that said, Comparison is the thief of joy, but judgment is the mask for pain. And the Bible also says that that judges, he that compares himself to another is not wise. That's not judgment, but he that compares himself to another one is not wise. So I want to say this. If I'm not where I want to be, it's easier for me to look at someone doing worse than me than for me to admit I've just been procrastinating on my purpose. You know, if you're jealous of somebody else, you're just procrastinating on your purpose. I remember one time in Sunday school, and we talked about different things: jealousy, hatred, you know, pride, just the different things about humanity. And I remember it was about jealousy and envy. And it was like when you're jealous of somebody else, you're basically telling God you don't like the life that you have. But I want to change that now that I think about really and truly, you are the one that created the life that you have. Did you know that? Where you are right now, that's because you created it. You created that. Whether you did not move forward in a thing, meaning get more education or press your way more toward, some of your goals, you procrastinate, whatever you are, the world that you are in right now, your own world, you created that world. You created it. So now let's talk about the roots of jealousy and hatred. If you hate someone, why? If you're jealous, why? I want you to, I talked about jealousy, but I want you to really, really look at yourself. Look at your childhood. Look within yourself and see about the things that have made you the person that you are today, the things about you that are not good. If you hate someone, why? If you literally hate a person, whether they're black, whether they're white, whether they are Hispanic, do you not know that a lot of adults that hate a race today, they didn't just come out the womb hating. It was embedded in them when they were a child. So everything, most things that we are today that are adults today, it was embedded in us when we were a child. So if you have this thing where you like to compare yourself to the next person, you can't even have a friend in your life because either you're going to be jealous or you're going to start a comparison like, why they got to have this? I'm going to get it too. Well, if they got a big house, I'm going to get a big house. If they got a new car, I'm going to get a new car. Where does that come from? Like, we have to ask ourselves some real hard questions. Where does this come from? Well, could it come from you had siblings and your mom or your dad favored one of your siblings over you? And now you're in this comparison, competing all your life. Maybe you didn't get enough attention as a child, and one of your other siblings got more attention. And now you are like starving for attention. You're on social media posting pictures, or you're on social media posting posts saying, I need this attention. I got to have this dopamine. I got to have this. When I get a bunch of likes, it makes me feel like somebody. So these are the things. When I was a child, I would say, I guess I got attention. I was the youngest girl, it's just me and my brother. But I looked at my family, and I said this on a previous podcast. I looked at my family as being so much smarter than me. Like I felt like the dumbest one in my family because my mom was educated, very smart. My brother, very smart, educated, to where it was easy for them to go through school, get good grades. I think my mom was like valedictorian. She like smart. AB honor roll in school. My brother, I think he was the honor roll. Me, baby. The girl was, if it was a D honor roll, child, or a F, I would fit right in. Ain't nothing honorable about that. So I felt like the weakest link, honestly, because studying for me was hard. For my brother, he could not study and pass, and I'd be like, okay, let me try that. Yep, that didn't work. So I lean more onto my sense of humor for attention. So I would say things or do things to make people laugh because I knew that having good grades was not going to be my thing. It wasn't my ministry. And I know I got my sense of humor from my father. And so I did that. I did that with my relatives when we were had family gatherings. I would say some probably off the wall to make people laugh. But it wasn't like I was forcing it. A lot of times it just happened. And so I use that through school. I comedic my way through school. But I had to pull a rein in and say, hold up now. You was a good grown age. Now you can't use those same tactics anymore for attention. So now we got to deal with this. We got to deal with this because this is not healthy. So I talk about, and I said in the previous podcast, where I went on a journey for like 2 or 3 months. And God dealt with me on my insecurity, being a very insecure woman. I didn't realize I was. Heck. And let me tell you this, insecurity it's not an outward thing. People are like, oh, she's so insecure. You could be insecure about your body, your breasts, your butt, your thighs, all that stuff. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about inward insecurity. Because you can say insecure and people are like, oh, but you're so pretty. I'm not talking about an outward thing. A lot of people have outward insecurities, but I'm talking about inward. And when I looked up the word insecurity, I was like, wow, I had no idea it was this in depth. And I Googled the word insecurity and I began to get a book by Beth Moore. And hey, I'm just putting it out there. If you wanted to get the book, then you can get the book. But this book changed my life. And it's called So Long Insecurity. It was in that moment that I began to do the work on me. And I locked in with me and God for 2 to 3 months, Monday through Friday. And I woke up at 3:30 a.m., met him in my dining room area at 4 a.m., grabbed me a cup of coffee, went in there, and we did the work. And you may say, what does that work look like? That work looked like for me reading the book, breaking down some things about me. As I'm reading the book, I'm reflecting on me. I'm reflecting on my childhood. I'm reflecting on, how I grew up and how I didn't have a full-time father in my life. Child wasn't even part-time. And so I ended up doing some things because I had father trauma. No father was in my life. So I ended up marrying a man because of, and it went on and on. So I did the work on me. Oh, this is what you're doing. When you do this, this is what you're doing. You want this kind of attention because, my attention it wasn't some people or women want attention, they're going to put their body out there. That wasn't mine. That wasn't my thing. So when I did the work on me, I was like, it was a woosah moment. And I felt the release and I felt the change. I felt the change. So when I say do the work on you, if you if you know, because everybody know some part of them that they don't like. You know when you're jealous. You know when you are hateful. You know when you are just low down for no reason at somebody. You know it's things about you that you absolutely hate. But what are you doing about it? Are you saying, well, child, that's the way I grew up, honey. My grandma was like this, my mama was like this, my auntie, it run through my family. Being hellish run through your family and you okay with that? Being mean run through your family and you okay with that? Oh, you okay being unhinged and cussing people out when you get ready. Oh, you're okay with being a person that will just go off because you have a bad temper. You're okay with that because it runs through your family. You're okay with not controlling your drinking because it runs through your family. Oh, you're okay with that. See, these are the things that I'm talking about that we have to do the work on us. I remember when I was a travel agent, and it was a MLM, multi-level marketing. It really was. One part was travel and one part was recruiting other travel agents. But let me tell you what I learned being a part of this MLM. I learned personal growth. They didn't just put us in here. And mind you, I know it was all a part of how to make you a better business person so that you can go get more and recruit more people. But I learned personal growth and development. I went to many seminars. I've been on many webinars. I've been to, a 2-day conference. I've been to the conferences out of town, all the things. And I learned so much about personal growth and development. And that's what a lot of people lack today. You are stuck because you lack personal growth and development. You're not supposed to still be the person that you was 10 years ago. You're supposed to be evolving and growing consistently. You're supposed to be reading the books. If you know that alcoholism runs through your family, are you getting help? If you are having trouble in that area, if you know that your family has always been unhinged and cursed out people just because they felt like it, are you seeking therapy and finding the root? It's all about a root. It's no way I can go in my yard and start pulling weeds that are on surface. What's the point? They're just growing back. I have to go to the root and pull the root. What is the root cause of the way you act, the way you act? What is the root cause of the way that you handle certain situations? What is the root cause that you're sleeping with Billy, Tom, Janet, Kim, Susie? Why? What is the root cause that you are so promiscuous? There is a root, and it's not genetics. It's not just genetics. Let me say this. It's a learned behavior, just like I said. A child does not come out the womb and say, I don't like this race of people. How many times have we seen children of different races playing together in each other's faces, touching each other? Hey, get this. Hey, passing each other the shovel, all that stuff. And they're not, No, it's as they get older. They listening to their parents, their grandparents, their aunties, their uncles, all of their relatives and saying, I don't like this color person. That's where it is. So now if you are a person that hates another race, let's get to the root. The root came from your generation. It came from your relatives. It came from your ancestors. There is a root. There is a root. You didn't know that? That's a root cause to why you act the way you act. Let me talk about this because I wrote a script, y'all, but I am so bouncing around in this, meaning I'm not following my notes. The things that irritate us in others are often things we need to face in ourselves. Let's say that again. The things that irritate us in others are often things we need to face in our own self. If I'm mad at someone for being too confident, look at her walking in the room. Child, who she thinks she is, girl? You don't want to take all that, honey. She got her nose up in air, honey. She thinks she better than us. She thinks she better than me. No, you must think that she's better than you. All she did was walk in the room. I'm telling you, this was me. I used to think like this. I used to say stuff like this. Of course, not out loud. Why? I wouldn't say it out loud because it sounds stupid and foolish. Well, why am I thinking it? Now, if I see somebody walking in the room, I'll be like, girl, you go. I mean, you better eat. I think that's the new word today. The new word, eat. You better work that confidence. I will uplift. I will cheerlead. I'm not a hater. I'm not jealous. Why? Because when I walk in the room, honey, somebody could say that to me, girl, you better walk. Because I'm confident. When I walk in the room, honey, I am confident. So if I'm mad at someone for being too confident, is it because I haven't learned how to walk in my own confidence? Could that be it? Think about it. Let me tell you something. Healing is hard. Doing the work is hard and it's ugly. When I did the work on me, it was hard. Sorry. And it was ugly. It was not a good process. Like I had to work through some dark stuff. I had to make some notes and journal. I was crying like the ugly cry track. And it was just me and God. Me and God in the wee hours of the morning. But I did the work. I got through it. I learned about me. I learned how to heal me. I learned how to build a relationship with God in me. I learned how I can walk through anything. I learned how to change me. I'm not saying nothing about therapy. If you need therapy, go. But I saved myself a nice little therapy bill because I did the work on me. So healing can be hard, it can be lonely, and sometimes ugly. People don't do the work because it's easier to distract yourself than to sit with yourself. I'll say that again. People don't do the work because it's easier to distract yourself than to sit with yourself. And then when you're 50, 55, 60, 65, you are regretting the life that you created because you could have been better. You could have been a better person. You could have moved in life better. You could have had a better life. Like when you do the work on you, you are creating a better life for you. Because now things can come to you because you can be trusted with things. I hope that makes sense. When you do the work on you, you start attracting good things to you, good energy to you, good people to you, business, deals, country, because now you can be trusted. And then you also can help somebody else. So you can create a community of people that you did the work on you. You learned some hard lessons. You went through some trials and tribulations, and now you can help somebody else and you can build a community doing that. People will sometimes fill voids with gossiping, busybody, or comparisons. When you talk about somebody else, like I said, it makes you feel good about you. So you're filling a void. Like, girl, I may not have this, but honey, my life ain't like this. Like, well, maybe you're the person that's supposed to help their life be better. But you sitting back judging and talking about it. Now, I want to ask you this question before we end this podcast. What healing can you do for your peace, for your relationships, and for your joy? What healing can you do for your peace, relationships, for your joy? I'm going to give you this example. Doing the work looks like therapy, journaling, silence, fasting, honest reflection, and forgiveness. Honest reflection. Do you not know that a lot of times your inner voice, you want to say it's God, is telling you about you and the things that you need to change about you? Did you not know that? It's screaming. When you're talking about somebody else, you can hear voices say, "You jealous. You're just jealous." And you may talk back, "I ain't jealous." How many times have we done that? I see your virtual hands. Raise them. Raise them high. I got mine up. I got mine up. I ain't jealous. See, we start talking about the voice that's talking to us. So you have to do honest reflection. And you have to say, you know what? I'm mad. I am jealous. I am jealous that my friend got that man. She got a husband before I did. God, what am I doing wrong? See, these are honest. You're honest. Like, it's just you and God. Just be honest. Open your mouth and tell God all about your ugliness. It's okay. He knew it anyway. But it's better for you to say it verbally out loud so you can hear it. Because when you hear it, you know it doesn't sound good. It's not something you're going to go up to somebody and say, "I'm jealous of you." So be honest with yourself. Is this mic on? Be honest with yourself. Many times I had to be honest with myself and tell myself some stuff that I didn't like to hear. But it was the truth. And you have to walk in forgiveness. So these are the things that doing the work looks like. Therapy, journaling, silence. And do you know a lot of people don't like silence? I love some silence. Because in those silent moments, you can hear things about you. You may be hearing your next move that God is giving you. You may be hearing some strategies that you need to do, or you may be hearing some things, some plots that people may be plotting to get against you. Silence. Some people, I'm gonna be honest, a transparent moment. When I first met my husband and I walked into his house, y'all, it was music playing in every room. I was like, what is this? Where is the silence? And he didn't like silence. I was like, oh no. Like, I mean, once we got married, I was like, every radio child, cut it off, honey. No. I'm just now remembering that. In every room there was noise. A room, TV, one room, radio, one room, another radio. It's just, I was like, oh no. Some people don't like silence. And I understand why he did it. But some people just don't like silence. They don't want to hear noise. I mean, they want to hear noise. They don't want to hear nothing. So I want to say this to you this week. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling and where does it come from? Honest reflection. Write it down, journal it. If it's one word, look it up in the dictionary. Also, see if there is a book out there. I'm telling you, educate yourself on how you can be set free from that one word that you're dealing with. How can you be a better person? How can personal growth and development work in your life? You deserve to be whole, but you got to choose it, y'all. You got to choose to be whole. I chose me. I chose to be a better me. I didn't want to walk around bleeding, damaged, wounded, disheveled. I wanted to be a better me. You deserve to be whole, but you got to choose it. I thank y'all so much for listening. I appreciate you guys. Every download, every listen, whatever platform, streaming platform you're listening on, I appreciate you. Again, I want you to send me, if this resonated with you, I want you to send me a DM. I want you to send me an email at Kourtney at thenewera.com. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear how this impacted you. Also, I want to say, what's one emotion you've been ignoring that keeps showing up for you? I want you to ask yourself these questions. Who do I judge and why? What part of my past needs healing for me to grow? Again, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I will see you guys on the next podcast. I love you so much. And I always say, make sure you follow us. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. Make sure you share this with your friends, your family, because somebody needs to know. And if you didn't catch our last podcast on trust and trusting God, even when it's dark, make sure you go back and listen to that as well. And go down to the comment section and let me know your comments. And also go down and follow us on all different platforms at The New Era. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube as well as TikTok. And you can, like I said, send us an email. And don't forget, I have a book and it's called Swipe Right After 40. And you can purchase that ebook at swiperightafter40.com. Make sure you get that ebook. It talks about, dating online after the age of 40. So I love you guys. Don't forget to listen, share it out, and I will see you guys on the next podcast. Bye.